Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, if you can't guess already by the handsome guy standing right next to me, we're going to be looking at the frog, which is this chap right here. So this is a vanilla only build that is simply a frog that when activated with the button on its head will hop along using its third leg and will go off on a journey, and it will never ever stop unless of course you're in survival mode, then it will eventually run out of juice. Now if you hear these random clunks every now and again, that is because there are some wild frogs roaming around this area. There's one over there, you can just see him hopping in the distance. But let's come back to that a bit later because we can do some rather silly stuff with this chap. So, pressing F10 and finding the frog in the spawn menu, here it is. The frog is only 94 small blocks and it has nothing else to go along with it. It simply says this is a frog, it hops, enjoy. And that is what we're going to do. So if we have a quick look around the outside of this thing, there's not really too much to talk about. We do have to kind of keep an eye out for some of these frogs because I did arm them with warheads so they will explode if they get close to something. Anyway, we have this chap right here, which is simply made out of some clean green skin, and we've got some cameras for eyes. If I just bring the sun back around so it's facing the head, there we go, that looks a lot better. We can see how this has all been put together. So we've got some rounded blocks that go across to form his eyes with cameras on both sides, which do absolutely nothing other than act as decoration. On the very tippy top of its head, we have a button, which is how we're going to start everything up. You simply spawn it in, hit that button, and the third leg will deploy and allow it to hop. If we come all the way around the side, I heard that is getting very close to me. Oh yes, as we come around the side, let's go to this side over here. We can then see its little legs, how they're all been set up, coming to the ground. We also come all the way around to here where we can see a small rotor which allows the front legs to tilt up and down when it hops to make it look a bit more realistic. And as we come around to the back, we've got some really fat legs like so. Coming all the way around to the very back, we then see a rotor with some blast door blocks and a timer block, which is how this thing is going to jump. So when I referred to the third leg beforehand, you can see what I mean by this. This simply flops down and the frog lifts up and it just hops a small distance, and will keep repeating that until you eventually turn it off or it blows itself up. We just come and take a look down here past this rotor under the ground. There we go. We can't really see much because of all the grass, but you can just see the blast door blocks coming across like that. We can see its creamy underbelly, and then if we come all the way up to the very top, like so, there's the frog. Wow, okay, you were not supposed to be over here. But yes, that is what it does. It just hops along with its little leg. It looks completely obscene with how that works. But it does work remarkably well. It will just keep on going forever and a day. It doesn't seem to damage itself, or at least the 10 frogs I spawned in don't seem to be damaging themselves. But yes, that is what it does. Anyway, back to this. Just a quick look on the top. We can see it's back there made out of some square blocks and the rounded blocks. And that is that. So if I take control of my character and come around to here before we get invaded by some more frogs, which I still don't know how that one came over here. He should have been pointing in that direction. Yes, we simply press F10. We find our frog. We double click the frog. We make sure he's not going to land on his little face. And we click him in. Once he's in the world, we just come up to this button here and we press it. And the time blocks activate. The third leg comes down and he hops along. We can see how the rotors are working on the front legs, how they just tilt down a little bit. And it just lands all nice and proper. Now this one is just going to keep going forever and a day in that direction until it eventually crashes down the mountainside. What else can we do with this frog? Well, if you wanted to, and what I spoke about earlier, you can always arm them with warheads. So we can get rid of his little snout, like so. I don't think frogs have snouts, but anyway. And we can just put the control panel on here, find the warhead, arm the warhead, remove the button panel, and maybe even color the block green so it doesn't stand out as much. There we go. And now we can send this chap, let's just copy him, on his way. The warhead is now armed, so he's just going to hop until he hits something, which will then explode, dealing a massive amount of damage. And there's that other frog from earlier. So he will just keep on marching to his destination. Unfortunately, he was not taken by the Dex fighter. He decided to go straight past it. And, well, he met a very unfortunate end, leaving a slightly small hole in the ground. So now what we're going to do is find ourselves the frog once again. There we go. And we're going to spice it up a little bit. Now, in case you're wondering, if you have the auto dampeners turned on, let me just go and switch this frog on. There we go. So in case you're wondering, if you have the auto dampeners turned on and you're sitting next to it, you will follow the frog's pattern. And it's quite disorienting if it turns on randomly, because you're just going to get flung along with him as he hops along. Anyway, let's just turn that off and switch him off at the head. Just follow him along. There we go. Now what we're going to do is drop ourselves a little seat. So we're going to shove on here the control seat. So now we're going to ride him into battle. So we have a little seat, and we can go one further by adding gatling guns onto him. There we go. We've now weaponized the frog. We can now come across to here. In fact, let's just hit that button and we can fly across. We can then take control of our weapon blocks, add them onto here, and we can shoot our enemy targets while riding along the battle frog. And look at that. Such a glorious sight to be seeing first thing in the morning. Yes, there's not too much else to talk about. It is simply a funny little design that you could, if you wanted to, just copy and paste and just keep on spamming into the world. Let me just get rid of the auto dampeners here and just fling him. Oh god, he wanted to go fast. That's Sonic the bloody frog. Yes, you could just keep spawning these in, build yourself a massive army of them, and they will just keep on hopping. Look at them go. Oh, two of them are joined together, and you now have an army of battle frogs. And before I end this video, there's not too much else to talk about. I will just check in on some of them that I spawned earlier. So these are all of the ones I just spawned, and let's take a look at where this guy is. So this is one of my original spawns. If I turn around here, he's made approximately 900 meters away from his starting location. It might be closer to 1 kilometers, but this guy is going for it. He wants freedom, he's seen freedom, and he's going to take it. But where are his friends? Because he spawned in a group of them. There's one of them. Oh, he's upside down. So this one's been taken out, and we can see his underbelly quite clearly there, as well as his third leg. We can come back and take another little looky at some of the other frogs. So here's another battle frog. We have another one over here, which unfortunately has met the same fate as the other one, where he's upside down, but he is somehow still moving along towards the other frog down there, which we saw a few seconds ago. And one final check-in. Let's just come over to here. We've got another one just hopping around here. So whereabouts is he on the map? He has made it 700 meters away, just floating away. This might have been the first one I spawned in as a demonstration. I do not know. I haven't quite kept track of them, but he is just going to hop away into the distance. So that is that for the frog, a vanilla only design which you can spawn in your world, weaponize, arm them with warheads and send them to their doom, blowing up your enemies with some quite fancy style. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to play around with them yourself, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.